Knowing how to invest your money is harder than ever before. Dealing with stock market volatility, record debt, and terrorist attacks requires new thinking. At U.S. Asset Management, we can help you see the world more clearly so that you can move beyond the chaos and invest with confidence. Call us, visit us online, or drop by our office. U.S. Asset Management, helping you make better decisions with your money.
Your government doesn't care about you. That's why you need a medical emergency kit. It contains life-saving medications like ivermectin, Z-Pak, and antibiotics. Stock them before they block them.
Jonathan Goldstein from Connecticut in Greenwich, who wrote a really good article on our Connecticut paper, the Connecticut Sentinel, is going to be with us here shortly. I gave him the wrong link, so give him a second to come in here. Jonathan, how you doing, man? Thanks for coming on.
I'm good, Todd. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, sorry about the mix-up there.
As long as it's you, not me, it's okay.
You wrote a really powerful article yesterday in the Connecticut Sentinel. Tell us about the incident of the Israeli staffers being shot in D.C. and what your thoughts were about that, please.
I mean, it's you had two young, bright souls with an amazing future, Sarah Milgren and Yaron Lishinsky, and he's a Messianic Jew, and she's a traditional Jewish woman.
Yeah.
Strong ties to Israel. They met in the Israeli embassy, staffers, and they had their futures ahead of them. And they were gunned down by a crazy man, Elias Rodriguez, yelling "Free Palestine," leaving a Jewish museum effectively. So it's really tragic. I looked at this as, we always say that Israel is the border or the first line of defense against the United States. And that's why Israel's security is so important to us. And this is terror on American soil. So as far as I'm concerned, America's been breached, with an act of terror like this.
So your article's up on the Connecticut Sentinel. Tell us about the shooter. I have been so busy. I haven't followed this really well. Have you dug into who the shooter was?
I haven't dug that deeply into him. It's one of those things that, it's been that kind of week for everybody. There's been a lot of stuff going on, and I know very little bit about him. I know he's an activist. I know he's done some other activist type work, but I don't have a lot about his background, and more will be revealed.
Yeah, for sure. It seems like, you're down in Greenwich among an elite class, but it seems like a lot of the youth across the country are being fed some of this, like killing is a good thing. It's a heroic thing to murder somebody. You saw the guy got shot, the healthcare executive. I mean, do you see that among kind of the youth in your area? That kind of
I spent a lot of time in New York City, especially, and also I spent a lot of yesterday, I don't want to call it trolling, but watching college graduations. I must have spent like 2 hours watching college graduations, and the amount of Free Palestine support, the amount of misguided youth, the amount of misguided information. Alon Omar, not really taking a stance on any of this. I think she should be removed from office. I don't find anything for her to do as a representative of the American people. These kids are taking over colleges, or they're being co-opted, and their professors are doing the same thing. What I'll say is the Ivy Leagues. We say that a lot of the Jews built the buildings, and the Qataris have been funding the professors and the education program. And foreign investment in our Ivy League education is a real problem for this country, and that needs to be addressed.
What do you think about Trump's move against Harvard yesterday?
I think it's great. I think remove more visas. I think they should immediately call in student loans. I think if you rip up your diploma, I think they should call in the loan immediately if you have student aid. The fact that either this protest, you don't value your education, why even go to these institutions? Yeah. Why should we be subsidizing a lot of these people? And college tuition has gone up incredibly high, and it's not for better education, it's for admin, like we have in our healthcare system. It's no longer going to programs, it's going to admin or middle management that is not either client facing or patient facing in medical related aspects, or it's not student facing in our education system.
Interesting. What do you see in Connecticut politics? Is there hope for the conservative viewpoint in Connecticut?
There's definitely a hope. I mean, my concern is, your town of Westport. The fact that the town started as a town effectively to counter the restrictive covenants of selling to Jewish people. And I would say that's a town that needs a lot of help. And the Jews of Westport and throughout Fairfield County, I think, need to have a bigger focus on Israel in a meaningful way. I think that they're, more secular and in name only. And, my dad's election, I think Westport was the worst town for us outside of Bridgeport. So, and, it's time that, there's guys like Sidney Rosenberg that are talking up and standing up against the liberal Jew, who really is not helping the cause, but kind of allowing this behavior to continue. And, going on marches and walking is all great, but it's time to do a lot of action. And what I brought up in my article is this interfaith component that, that Christian and Jews are aligned. Their love of Israel is incredibly close, and that more of these dialogues have to continue. It's not these galas raising money. It's getting out there and checking in with your neighbors. There's a lot of people that are not all right today. And there's a lot of people who will not be all right. And I think this is unfortunately the beginning. I don't think we're even close to seeing this come to a head.
I agree. What about the Blumenthals of the world in Connecticut? I mean, you talk about a secular individual. I mean, that's one, obviously. That influence is pervasive in Connecticut, is it not?
Absolutely. I think he is not representative of Connecticut. He's not representative of the Jewish people. I don't think he's strong on Israel. The fact that we still, again, I believe we have now, unfortunately, just dead Americans still held in Gaza. They think the live ones have been released, as far as we know. That no major politician is really, especially on the Democrat side, is standing up for Israel, standing up against Iran. These are real problems. And Blumenthal, he's probably going to get scapegoated, most likely with Schumer, and this is the problem when you see, there are almost no conservative Jews in Congress. That was something we tried to do in Connecticut, is get my dad elected. I think AIPAC, organizations like AIPAC, that if you're neutral on Israel, you still get support. You're noticing that AIPAC is starting to stand up against Chris Murphy for his stance on Bernie Sanders blocking aid to Israel in the form of arms. But AIPAC, I think, spent $14 million getting rid of Jamal Bowman last cycle. So we talked about this last time on the show. These are problems where these PACs have real opportunities to make sound investments for Israel. And what helps Israel helps America.
So I have to ask you last question. Your dad ran. He's getting older. Do you have a political future? Are you thinking of getting in the fight in a local or national way?
I mean, we're staying active. I'm staying active. I haven't made a decision on any of this at this point, but I'm certainly not silent, and I encourage everybody to not be silent. This is a country worth fighting for. It's Memorial Day weekend. It's not about firing up the grill. It's about remembering those that, defend our freedom. This is the land of the free, home of the brave. And right now, our freedom is being challenged here in America. And if we don't look at it that way, this is a major blunder. And again, it starts with the education, and it continues.
So how do people follow you and stay in touch?
A couple social medias. I'm going to rebrand my Instagram probably soon. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. You can find me. And writing for CD Media, and we have a Substack that my dad and I have kind of converted from the political forum of his to a joint, Goldstein report, effectively.
Excellent. Well, keep us advised on that. Thanks for your time, Jonathan. Appreciate
Absolutely.
you coming
Thanks
on last minute.
for having me.